through the show, use that hashtag LockerRoom981 on Twitter. When you tweet at Smooth981FM. But if you want to send messages through WhatsApp,
you can send your messages to 0809 444 0981. That's 0809 444 0981.
Our first story here before us. Also, be mindful of the fact that we are streaming live on YouTube. So if you want to see the lovely faces of Tega and Fola, you can find them there. And of course, here, leave a message there with the live chat button there. And the first story is about Ate Tokumbo. So I pronounced it that way deliberately. Now, through the first three quarters of Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Antetokounmpo scored just 6 points and finished with a total of 12. He missed 2 key free throws in the first overtime and fouled out less than 1 minute in the second overtime. He committed 8 turnovers in all. The Bucks actually lost 118 to 112, and Antetokounmpo does not accept performances like that. In his words, when he was interviewed after the game, this is what he had to say. It is a culture we've built as a team. We do not like losing. We know we are 2 games away from the NBA Finals. We cannot jump steps. We have to do it a game at a time, a play at a time, a day at a time. We couldn't have been up 3-0. Antetokounmpo continued. We didn't play well and never expected this series to be easy.
Okay, so first I must say this: every team goes to play not to win, not to lose. So that thing is saying it's a culture. Because this season they are doing well now, it's a culture.
Because you don't well.
One regular season and it's a culture. Brother, please move. This is a culture to you. What is it to go to State Warriors?
We
woke up like this.
Please allow us to gloat when we can.
Anyway, but the mindset is impressive that you will go to Toronto and expect that you will go there and beat Raptors easily.
Yes. In their home.
But you have to recognize, as badly as he played and Middleton played and Bledsoe played, they all played so poorly, but they were able to push this game into double overtime. So that's the good news they can take from this, that in as much as they didn't put in the day's shift, the Toronto Raptors still struggle to beat them on their home court. So it's still advantage Milwaukee Bucks. You're looking at, I mean, when this series started, I was like, this is going to be a great series. Let's see what they're going to do. But Toronto Raptors are a bit like Tottenham Hotspurs. They choke every now and then. So their choking wasn't surprising. But again, on this home court, if they would have won this game, for me, it wouldn't have been surprising for the Bucks. In as much as, yes, they did lose at the end of the day, it wouldn't have been surprising. But the Toronto Raptors haven't really showed up in this series. It's like they used their blood and sweat to fight in the semifinals, and in the finals, they're just like, you know what? We've reached our bus stop. Let us ball it quickly. But let's see how it goes. Maybe this one win will inspire or will instigate some fire in them, and then they'll be able to come up with the next great games. But the mindset that Giannis has, it tells you where exactly he wants to go. Again, unfortunately, I don't think he can win 4 games against Golden State.
Ow.
That's a good one. Okay, so here's a good news from Nigeria Super Falcons. Nigerian Super Falcons have emerged as champions of the 2019 WAFU Women's World Cup tournament that just concluded in Abidjan. The Nigerian women on Saturday edged the host nation, Cote d'Ivoire, 5-4 after penalty shootouts in an interesting final match at the State Robert Stadium. The Ivorians took the lead in the 43rd minute of the encounter when Spain-based Angie Coco beat the goalkeeper with a marvelous free kick.
Yes, and then Nigeria waited and waited. It was in the 4th minute of added time that Nigeria scored. Like, referee had put whistle to his mouth to blow. That's when this girl now decided to save Nigerians. You needed to look. It was Abidjan, but the celebration was like it was Lagos.
Yes.
It was bad, and which is why they don't like us in places. Like, they don't welcome us easily.
Because we're extra.
The place exactly we're extra, and then we're given reason to be extra. And they have to finish work. So it Look, like I said in previous games, they had these girls. You can tell that they are raw products, so they still need a little bit of refining when it comes to tactics, and sometimes it's not basic skill, but just some decision makings and making and all. And then they get in the final third, and they can't do much with the few chances they've created, but the fact that they're able to, so the team that I saw was a team that was able to dig out or grind out results, and that's what you need in any championship winning team. Unfortunately for Nigeria, it's not these girls that are going to the World Cup. They just take some, and so it was an amazing, I would say, performance from the girls, especially in hostile territory. You have to remember they're playing the hosts in the finals. It's not a comfortable place for anybody. And so for them to be able to score that equalizer at the time that they did, it was mad. And then to carry up that momentum and go into the penalty shootout to win again penalty shootouts. Remember, they beat Ghana via penalty shootout. So it was, I would say this was a good outing. And for the development of women's football, this is progress.
Awesome. Now, Nadal and Djokovic are in the news right now after losing the semi-finals of 3 straight clay court tournaments. Nadal dominated for stretches against his longtime rival Novak Djokovic in a 6-0, 4-6, 6-1 win on Sunday for a record-extending 9th Italian Open title. According to Nadal, he said, winning a title is important, but for me, the most important thing is to feel myself competitive, feel myself healthy. Then with the feeling that I'm improving, I know if I'm able to reach my level, you can win, you can lose, but normally I'm going to have my chances, especially on this surface.
Independence, emancipation for Nadal. Look, since 2011, Djokovic has absolutely dominated their head-to-head, and it's very bad for the king of clay to be feeling like the second best guy, on
now
clay.
He can breathe.
This year was bad for Nadal, but primarily because he was struggling to get back into full fitness from his injury. So the team was beating him today, Tsitsipas was beating him tomorrow. Those are random losses. Against Novak Djokovic especially, it had become a mental slavery, because he gets up against Novak Djokovic and it just looks like, regardless of what I do, this guy is still going to beat me. And so the match yesterday, 2 things happened for me. When I saw the way that Delpo pushed Novak Djokovic, I was like, okay, maybe physically he was straining, but Novak Djokovic is the kind of guy that can play even when totally fatigued. That's which is the one reason I don't pity him for anything. Like, he's a robot. There's a reason why they say his tennis is robotic. And so they get on court, and the first set, he bageled him in a final. I didn't expect to see that Nadal will beat Djokovic by 6-love in the first set. I didn't see it coming, but there were a lot of things involved. There were unforced errors. There was Novak Djokovic trying to do a lot of things too, so it was a bit tricky. But second set, that's the Novak Djokovic, the guy that's elastic, the guy that would dig deep, the guy that is resolute and resilient, and he came back. And then the final set, like, there was no more gas in the tank or whatever it was, but he seemed to be missing even shots that on a normal day he'd make easily. And so I'm not to take anything away from Nadal, but it wasn't, for me, it wasn't the same Djokovic I saw in Madrid just the week before. But I was so happy when Nadal was winning. I was like, yes, emancipation. I've been dominating one man for so long.
In his advantage.
It's very, very mean. But congratulations to Rafa Nadal. And this win comes just before he goes to Roland Garros, where he tries to vie for his 12th Roland Garros title.
Yeah, so good motivation for that.
King of clay is really king of clay.
All right, let's take a quick message before we go on a break. Now, Lukman from Ijabode sent this message. It says, good morning. Yesterday, Rome Masters, Nadal 6-0 in the first set against Djokovic. He laughs. A very good one from Nadal. Deontay Wilder, 41 fights against with 40 KO and only 1 belt to show. AJ, 22 fights, I guess, with 4 belts. That shows the difference between a street fighter and a pro. Tega, which one is the better treble? United treble with UCL trophy or City's local treble? Which one?
You answer the question yourself.
Let's take a break. We'll be back for more inside of the locker room.
Bongos and business.
So
Anthony Joshua.
So people will ask you a question that they want to be able to say, Tega, which one is good? Should I steal from my mommy or should I work for the money? Outside yourself.
Hey, my beautiful wife.
In your own private moment. Ponder on it. Say it.
And come up with an answer.
Tired of you.
Your own private moment.
Kevin. Oh, these cute babies. Oh, hunger. Ah,
It's what America is doing to the world.
hey.
But they are going around
This
everybody's
is
big
a
brother.
full.
That's an adult looking like that. See, malnutrition.
Even the woman that is talking, oh, she's hungry.
They are all malnourished.
They're all
Look at that.
malnourished. And she's head of the unit. She's head nurse. Even she's malnourished.
Oh, God.
Ah, Jesus.
Corey, and I'm going to tell you about your favorite Milo Ready to Drink. Milo Ready to Drink is made from the natural goodness of milk, malt, and cocoa, and fortified
The AIDS
with
scandal
essential
in
vitamins
Yemen.
and minerals, so I can now pack the winning energy of Milo into my children's lunchboxes. So, moms, what are you waiting for?
Hey,
Make sure your
food,
child is
though, that's
always
what I'm
ready to
waiting
win every day with Milo Ready to
I don't even know that I'm hungry this morning. I think I just want to sleep.
Nah, it's late today evening, on close towards to the night, thinking that okay, this is not going to make me.
If you're like,
hungry the
that's when
next
you're
day.
going to be hungry.
Apparently, I made a mistake.
That's when you're going to be
I was
very
telling
hungry.
myself that let me eat well so that at least in the morning I won't have to.
Eh,
He's such a cute Arab.
We changed to the all-new LG Genco inverter, floor standing and ceiling.
will be also an Ashawo Arab.
And that this kind of probably will be.
No matter how hot it is outside.
Really? But it must cost a fortune in
Look
terms of
at him.
energy consumption.
No, it's simply amazing. My
Even his nails are better than mine.
I know. The guy is see his Nike Arab cap. Like
This guy is on point.
Wow, it's amazing. I guess I better tell my boss that we need the LG Genco inverter in our office.
Relax and stay cool indoors at work or home with an all-new LG Genco inverter, floor standing and ceiling cassette air conditioner. LG.
State of the Union.
Imagine saying you want fall, enter party, plenty food they go round, but now only small chops reach.
Okay, Becky Anderson has gone
Mind
back
though.
to the studio. What?
no, it's the ad I'm answering.
Okay.
It's only small chops remain. There are some
That's
parties you go.
that's
some,
all I want.
There's some level of small chop. Wey be
I
say,
did-
go be like say na, hey, go be like food.
Because I really don't go to. But I don't
Parties
like
to
the
go and eat.
food.
Eh.
I just like the small
You
chops.
see that
Hey,
mass-produced jollof rice? I'm not about that life. Give me
there was
that
one
small
party that there were
chops.
two. Okay, so there was I'm not called the name of the notable brand that brings small chops.
Yeah.
They brought their small chops. So it's like, oh, this small chop. Then we saw this small chops. This small chop had PhD.
Small chops
There
are-
was snail,
No, no.
there was geese, and there was, I said, this is the chops. and by that time, people had left because they're
That-
eating it.
that's party just start.
Ah!
You understand? Now,
That was a
time
good.
when
That was a
party
good
start.
party. That was a very good one. Because I'm not even. I didn't even make the rice. No, we did mix the food, but
Sometimes
neither
me,
one
I
of
don't
us
like
were
it when
hungry.
it-
Yeah.
like, this is mass-produced jollof and fried rice.
So we just had.
Right.
Me, I asked for moi moi and fish. So and
Yeah,
then
memory sometimes too is good in
Yeah.
parties. And then I like the wrap parties where they make
okay. I try not to eat all those things.
Okay. Studio mics are up. Studio live. It is 8:30. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. It's the locker room where we discuss sports in within the Smooth Breakfast, and we'll have Tega Supreme here. Now, Chimobi Victor sent this message on WhatsApp. It says, "All hail the king of clay, no other than my man, Rafael Nadal. He deserves all the accolades at the locker room this morning. We are all giving him the standing ovation in my office. Please, Tega, you can join us to celebrate him. Send your office address, Chimobi.
Exactly.
Let's start there."
All right, moving on right now. Okay, so this has been causing a lot of excitement, actually. Wilder obliterated Brazil with a massive right hand for a violent first round knockout victory before an announced crowd of 13,181 at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. He retained his world title for the 9th time as he scored one of the most spectacular knockouts in a career filled with knockouts.
Yes. There was so much bragging before the fight where he was
Yeah.
even saying that he can actually kill Brazil in the ring and get paid for it.
Mm.
After all, that's his sport.
Yes.
So there was so much noise and violence, and then they get in the ring, and my analysis is definitely going to be longer than the entire fight and highlights itself. So
They're not gonna so quick.
it was a horrible display, and I think because of the way, so Brazil gets into this fight, he looked like he was instigating the move, and Wilder was giving him the opportunity, like, let's see what you can do.
Throw it now.
Let's see what you can do. And then Wilder saw that this guy has a very poor defense, and so he gets in. The first flurry of punches
Yes.
comes from Wilder, and just when Wilder thinks he's settling in, he unfortunately leaves himself open. So Brazil did actually get to give him his own, hit him, Wilder a few times, and if Wilder steps back, and you think, okay, that Wilder will now give some respect to Brazil. That was
No
a
way.
lie.
No way.
That was the beginning of the annoyance.
As far as I'm concerned, you're done. That is the last punch you're going to
Exactly.
throw.
You're going to throw today. Wilder is 1 minute, Brazil is standing there and thinking he's in the fight. The next minute he's asleep. He was
I like that. He was thinking he was in a fight.
Yes.
it was done. And to think about, because AJ took 7 rounds to knock out Brazil, Wilder is now like, I want to show you
What
how
you
they-
did in
Do you
7 rounds,
understand?
I do in 1.
You know, exactly. I did in 1. And this is not, I mean, it looks so bad that now even people that were saying, oh, AJ is the technical fighter, they're saying, I'm afraid for AJ now. Yeah, because that's what Fury can do.
Yes.
Fury puts a professional boxer in the ring, and he
messes him up.
and he lasts longer than Churchill. I'm sorry. There's no way to deal with it. So at the end of the day, he's going to need to AJ is going to need to do so. This fight has to happen, because anything other than that, it looks like he's running away.
Yes.
So if you're going to say I'm really the heavyweight champion,
Better
eventually
defend
you're going to have to fight for Wilder. Not even Fury, but Wilder. So let's see how this builds into that fight. So I mean, it's a good setup, but this fight has to happen.
But are you scared
Why am
for AJ?
When he collects his money, doesn't share it with me. I beg you should go and fight. Let me see road.
Let's take this message here from Murtala.
From Murtala from Unity House says, people are just born clay court specialists. Playing on that surface requires plenty of patience, resilience, and focus. Serve and volley players can't handle clay courts, which is why people like John McEnroe and Pete Sampras never won the French Open.
And
Young
again, they didn't
Ball
grow
was
up on
lawn
it.
tennis personified, although the US Open was the only championship that eluded him. Congrats to Rafael Nadal.
Yes, congratulations to the King of Clay. Now let's get back to football. Real Madrid manager Zinedine Zidane has said that Gareth Bale's attitude day to day meant he did not get on the pitch in what could have been his final match with the club during the 2-0 defeat to Real Betis. In his words, Zidane said, "It is true, I did not give Bale a chance to say goodbye. If I had another substitute to make, I would not have done anything different. But I have to look at the day-to-day and make decisions. And when there's something I do not like or does not fit for me, I must do what I think best. It might be difficult for the player. We cannot forget all he has done here, but I must live in the present, think of the future. We'll see if Bale continues. I don't know what will happen, truthfully."
Okay, again, this is another thing. Regardless of how bad the season has been, it was Gareth Bale that was dominating the news all of yesterday. Real Madrid were losing. That should have been, I mean, they were losing at home. That should have been the news. But it was about, is Gareth Bale leaving or staying, and how is Zidane treating him? Look, ultimately, we have to come to this thing that managers do know the players that they want and the attitude of the players. First of all, there are about only 3 or so people on the team that Gareth Bale talks to. And those are the only people he can't talk to, because he stayed in Spain, but he's refused to learn the language. Think about it. I mean, the most basic of things. Doesn't hang out with the teammates. You don't have to be friends, but there's something that builds up when you people are together for a while, which is why they have all these team meetings, team dinners, team outings. It's for team building. Even corporate offices, they do team building and they're not playing football. What is wrong with you? And so yes, this guy has scored in the UEFA Champions League finals. He's won trophies for them. We agree that he's been fantastic because he's been paid to do that. It's not like he's doing an extraordinary job. It's not like he's the ball boy scoring goals for them to win trophies. He's the guy that was once the highest, that almost broke the record for the highest transfer in the market. So look, they've paid him his money, he scored his goals, but he needs to go because not because he's not a good footballer, but because he's not a good teammate. And Zizou can't work with that. A manager that is not even talking to you. I don't know what he's still doing on the team. So regardless of how the British media is going to try and spin it, he's been out. He's been how would I put it? He's been an outcast. He's been this. He's been that. He hasn't tried to fit in. So there's no need to try and drag him in. Let him go somewhere and let them build their team. I'm totally with Zinedine Zidane on this. Football is not just about what you do on the pitch. Okay. It's about how you relate with your teammates. End of.
Even in the locker room.
Yeah. Even in the locker room.
Quadri here on YouTube, Quadri Aderoba, he said, please, Tega, did Zidane really say if he had a fourth substitution, he wouldn't waste it on Bale?
Yes.
I never knew they had so much animosity towards each other.
It's not a question. He probably doesn't even hate him. Probably just doesn't think about him. It's a difference.
Wow.
No need to waste negative energy.
Indifference. Biggie from Kitty says, I think Wilder went to hell to get such a knockout. First round match just end. Just like that.
Just like that.
I just need to order a taxi for one punch or for someone disturbing me at the office. Okay. Oh, to order a taxi for the punch. Interesting. Wow.
I'm scared for AJ.
And this one from Ima from Yaba.
Ima says, I don't really see Zidane progressing on this, his second coming to Madrid. I feel he should have left for good and not return.
True.
More stories?
All right, more stories here. Manchester City will ultimately be judged on how they fare in the Champions League despite their historic treble, says the manager, Pep Guardiola. I'm quoting Guardiola now. He said, I said before that I know we will be judged at the end on whether we win the Champions League or not. I know unless we do that, it will not be enough.
Exactly. He can talk about it before he came to England. You know, Pellegrini, Mancini, they've won the Premier League before. They've won the FA Cup before. They did not bring all that money to be local champions. You know, ultimately, when I hear people say things like, how can they bring a coach for just one trophy? People do these things. It may not be that if he doesn't win the trophy, they're going to fire him immediately. But that's the standard by which they've judged you. They've looked at you like a manager that has won the UCL 2 times with a good team. Yeah. And they've done all they can, spent all the money that they could, broke financial fair play rules or not, because they're still denying it, to bring the quality of players that you need. And they've built such a great team that has good first 11 and a good bench, and they want to win that international trophy. And yes, you've brought the domestic treble. We've applauded you. We've read it in newspaper. We've talked about it. Now, please go and do the one that we want you to. We want to dominate outside. And that's what they're looking for. And they may be banned next season and they don't get the opportunity to do that. But they feel like if a team that, like Tottenham, can be playing in the final of the UEFA Champions League, certainly. Certainly, why not us have spent so much? So, yes, he's right. You will be judged by not bringing the UCL. Congratulations on your domestic treble. Use it to keep you warm and push for UCL.
And Chimobi says, Zinedine Zidane coming back to Real Madrid is for him to be sacked properly because I do not see him doing anything in that team. Wow, pessimism. Femi here sends this message. Femi from Pestac.
AJ's camp offered Wilder a contract to fight him. They even mailed it to him, but Wilder refused to sign it. A company also offered to promote the fight, offered Wilder even more money, still he refused. If there is anyone that's scared, it's Wilder.
Augusto, don't say that. It was not the fight that was afraid of it. It was the money that they're giving him. It was the purse. And truth be told, AJ is the bigger man, but you fight AJ because he's a cash cow. And if you fight the cash cow, you're not making cash from the cow. What's the point? So don't come and spin your story in another way.
So we've got some cows to milk. Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll be back after this.
I like the way people come and spin this. So that is the truth. So yeah, he knows that even if he gets into the ring, win or lose, he's supposed to make money.
He should make money. So the money is not going to be worth it.
Yeah. So there was a cut. But they were making it even lower. So it's the cash that was making him not. Don't make it look like he's afraid of. He knows that whether he's going to get beaten or not is not the point. The point is, am I going to make my money?
I saw his pre-fight ginger.
Yeah, but AJ, truth be told, if you ask me, AJ is the better fighter. Whether AJ will come out the winner on the day, because sometimes it's not about your talent. It's like this fighting, boxing sometimes can be like auditions. Some of the best presenters have the worst
Yes, they
auditions.
don't audition.
Yeah, they don't audition well. So, so this one
But I
has
think a fight between him and AJ would last
This is
longer
rain.
than
no, it won't last.
It's raining,
long.
eh?
It's raining, yeah.
Wow.
It won't last long
Oh,
because of the animosity. It
So
won't
the-
be. It won't be a pretty fight.
it
It won't be about
very ugly.
technicalities. It won't last long.
Hi, my name is Dakori.
Wow,
and
they
I'm
should
the
make it
It'd be
happen.
it'd be either one of them trying to knock the other person out as quickly as possible.
made from the natural
There's no point dragging it.
malt and cocoa and fortified with
Mm,
essential
that is
vitamins.
really
Boy, rain.
Yeah, everywhere was 1 minute. Everywhere looked bright. Next minute, everywhere was dark. I just like, oh no, I don't need this stress in my life today.
Make
Today
sure
will
your
be
child
funny.
Ah, and I have meetings, so
every day. Milo ready to drink.
The energy food drink of future champions. Hello? That's how. Yes, sir. I'm traveling tomorrow morning. Please come and pick up my car for repair.
I hope the sun comes out because I really need it. Eh, I have too many meetings.
I'm already at the airport. No, you don't have to worry. I can open it from here. It is Centurion automated gate. I can open it from anywhere with my phone.
Centurion automated gate systems offer a wide range of products from
I don't know you.
motorized traffic barriers, remote controls, garage door operators, GSM solutions, and intercom systems. Thinking easy and secure access into your
I don't know
premises?
you.
Think Centurion. Call 0700 Centurion or visit www.centurion.com.
Send another message, eh? This time, introduce yourself.
So your network gives you 1 gigabyte only for 1,000 naira. Hey,
There is no signal. This may be due to bad weather. Thank you. Like we didn't know.
right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I told you that on
Yeah, we
MTN
did.
Data Plus, that same 1,000 naira gets you your 1 gigabyte?
By now,
plus
satellite should be able to be giving us signal without
2,000 naira
being
airtime
interfered with by the
for
weather.
networks. Don't you just want to
In Nigeria, we
try
did.
it? Simply recharge and dial star 154 star 2 hash. Come on, try it. Just try it. Star 154 star 2 hash. You know
Hey,
after all, you have no
Wow.
this rain is not loyal.
My goodness.
Thank God I didn't put my cat on the balcony. I wanted to put that out. This
You know what?
Yeah,
My cat.
to dry her
Oh, you have
hands.
a cat.
Yes, I do.
And dogs.
Hmm.
Pets. Except snakes and scorpions.
Can't stand any pets. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, animals should be in the forest. Let everybody just stay their lane.
I love
Yeah,
cats.
so
I love cats.
can't stand any cat or dog or monkey or.
Oh my gosh, I love that it's raining. It's the feeling it gives me.
Yeah, good.
Studio. You're listening to Smooth 98.1. I'm excited because it's raining. Unfortunately, you might be caught in the rain, but please stay warm and take your umbrellas if you haven't left the house. But if you're in the office, well, you're listening to the locker room here on Smooth Breakfast. We have messages, excuse me.
Yes, this message. Okay, you didn't put your name and.
Hibby.
Okay, he be from my papa. Oh yeah, he says that more that wild than a beast. Though. What took you 7 round? What? Oh, okay, I'm gonna have to edit this. in
Yeah,
my
so
head.
what took you
is
7 rounds?
Seven
Mhm.
round for someone to achieve.
Mhm.
I think he just did in 1 round. I fear for Anthony Joshua.
That's right. And Yomi here says Wilder versus AJ will be a win for boxing, regardless of the way the fight goes. It's going to be the classic bout of the century. Do not be scared for AJ. What he needs us is the belief that it is possible. Team AJ always. Yomi
Okay.
from First Stack. Yeah, that's the Banigusi team. Huh? So he says, "Good morning, guys. When will the Nations Cup commence? Tega? When? June?"
Google.
Research. Zinate says, this one is from Femi Investac. It says, money was a factor for Wilder refusing to sign a fight to fight AJ, then he would have signed the contract offered by the company. They were ready to pay more. Wilder has no excuse in this one.
It's still going on with that narrative.
you need to move. Let's move on to the next story. This
Alright.
guy is apparently.
But
This
just
guy fan.
to mention, Kylian Mbappe hints at Paris Saint-Germain exits after League One awards.
Exactly. So that's how people do now. They say, "Oh, I'm looking for a new responsibility, a new journey."
Challenges.
They are just looking for more money.
Wow.
Come and be going.
Is that how it is now? Thank you so much, Tega. Thank you for your wonderful analysis as always here, especially this rainy morning. Find Tega up on Twitter at Tega Supreme. That's our handle. And if you want to catch up with the latest on ladies in sports, well, check out at LIS International. Fola and Valentine, we're still here.
Absolutely.
For the top of the hour conversation inside of Lagos Talks 981. We'll be picking up one of the stories that we treated earlier inside of Freshly Pressed 981. This is Smooth